Okay, so I haven't been very engaging lately. I haven't felt the need to speak much. But I think I will do a discussion about the full moon, or I mean this Cancer new moon. Let me think, what do I got going? This way, that way. Right. Logistics. You got to figure out the logistics. See, so Cancer, the home, the ancestral river of life, carrying the spirit, the reason for the tribe, and the processes of individuation which arise through that, giving birth to new dreams. And the transformation to old beliefs, the fire that's carried over the mountain. Speaking of Sagittarius. So Cancer is works its transformation through Sagittarius, which is the value of the belief we're processing through our relationships. And the relationships to others in this world gives us a clue as to the relationship of ourself and the denials and the compromises and the reasons for, because they fit into structure, into expectation, into the form. And the coursework of what we do in existence, how we put our emotions into expression. What do we work through the relation of life? What does that cause? And how can that cause be seen as the changing reflection of a sense of self with the cosmos, with others? So assessing yourself when you're healing or you're learning or you're falling into the trance of life, you're going through this digestion of experience and you're learning new language for this. And sometimes you learn or realize keys and you release all these other things because you no longer need to hold that tension. You've found a language, a flow. The information changes on the fly, and the change in the information is your application, and your application is a um, you're prescribing your own perceptions because You feel deeper than you once did. You're no longer bound to the rocky shoreline. You're beyond that and you're flowing. All right. High Priestess. All right, so Neptune here, 29 degrees Pisces. Retrograde currently. The Pisces trines Cancer. Pisces, the 12th sign, the unconscious, becoming realized through reconstructing meaning after edifice, after structure, after expectation, fades. Because it cannot be known when the self, it's when you yourself are hard to be known. It's hard to honor statics with true conviction, which is what we bring into Aries from Pisces. So Alpha Omega stuff. Neptune will be going direct here, crossing over the Aries point soon. Spiritual realization. We're always learning, the language of life, it's different for different people. They tune into different, the instrument of their sense of self is tuned into different patterns of resonance for a micro to macro understanding of themselves. So I guess what it means is, we can only do us, others can only do them. Let your delusions be your guide rather than the reaction to some elusive dream, some old current. This is a feudalism time, feudalism in spirit. We're all elementalizing into more pure refinement of our own tunings. Saturn is in Pisces. We tune into our intuition, the still waters, more clearly when we accept our denials and we aren't holding that. Then we don't seek the tension to form and externalizations like with dynamics or narratives, programming, consensus reality, entrainment to feudalism external. What groups do you belong to? What do you support? Who are you voting for? Are you pro this? Whatever. The mental mind, mental playground, the war zone. It is the apocalypse of consciousness. So tuning into yourself is getting into the high priestess energy. As you do that, you find if you go into public places, you might be more, your energy could be sapped when you get out of those environments, or you could feel sick. If you're in places with a lot of electromagnetic frequencies, energies, you could be feeling that more because you aren't numbed out into other realms of your sensory system. So you find things that help you to balance yourself, like what kind of foods, how much water to intake, getting out into nature, changing your environment, changing the feng shui of where you're at. moving, looking for different places where you can be in more authentic resonance with your surroundings. You don't have to be so guarded because it's natural. All right, so, the purity of what has worked in the past, the spirit of what's kept this planet populated by mind, body, spiritual machines, beings like us, and what kind of empires we create, and what kind of manias bind us into the shadows, so we hold on to these ancient spirits and we help to bring them to life so they can mature through possessing those who are afraid of their own power and fall into the edifice of what once was. And everyone falls into this at times in life. But you realize when you're holding on to things that aren't benefiting you, where you stand and at what phase of your awakening you're at. I have let go of many things which I felt were holding me back. It was a very selfish, self-centered way to be, and it's the best way to be in this world of fakery, because everyone I care about now is more authentic, because I chose something, more authenticity for myself. So when you make decisions because you feel the need, the deep need, the understanding of the value of living and cultivating a sense of self, then you can be open to your ignorance as a process, and you can be more in tune with cycle and progression, and cyclical perspectives are easier to apply to subjective, painful shit. And even though you may be triggered and may get upset by the world and the manipulation and everything else, you realize it's part of strange processes. We can only control what's conceived. You have to release your limitation to narration and create what you would like to perceive, more in tune with the Six of Cups energy, the nourishment of the spirit, so that you can release the things that no longer serve, but the things which weigh you down, and stand out of the shadow, knowing the foundation flows through you, trading in the Four of Pentacles for the Four of Wands, maybe. At peace with life, with spirit, with your own expression, the freedom of you. So I'm reading this. It's a temperance process. Our psyches, they take time before they can be realized, and the world has to catch up to us all the time. All right, so Nine of Swords, second deacon Gemini, shoulda, coulda, woulda, if only. We get spun up in the mind. We're trying to utilize space and time. The emotions, the sensations, they weigh us down. You can fall into these rabbit holes of signs and symbolage, and you can manipulate yourself through delusions. So it's best to find anchor points in circumstances, surroundings, so that your mistakes are never too bad, but they're bad enough to keep you twisted up in dynamics, loops. And what that is, it's the process that we go through in life when there's deep tension within our psyche working its way out. We don't have the language in life from which to put it, so we accumulate strange relations and dynamics which feed back in on themselves, and we take all that in and we hold that charge and we own all those emotions and things, and it puts us into generating dynamics where we can put that kind of tension to use. So it's the psychological growing pains of realizing your wisdom through applying your progression, because Nine of Swords, the Sun energy, progresses into the 10, into the Ace. So these theme dynamics are usually in time related to mental loops, which are relational to dynamics. So doing what you fear, even though it may fail, but with the intention of what is your best, which isn't holding you back for other people's or other persona-oriented structural gain, then you're able to put all that 9 tension into things which space the swords out, which pull them apart so that they're not right there in your mind all the time. You can find the rhythm. And then that tension goes into establishing pattern and structure, and the ability to scale, large or small, up and down, in and out, is a power that not a lot of people have. So you always retain that. And when you establish your own rhythms, you're able to ride that well. And this is what brings dreams into being. This is how the creative flows through your lived spirit. This is when the statement, nothing easy is worth doing, is realized. When the world changes, and you're part of that. Now there's a 7 of Swords here. Down from the 9, so this choice in relation to your own value, your own changing value language. When you begin to honor yourself and change, other people can't handle that, and they want to remind you of who you are to them, as if you owe something, an explanation. They don't understand because they haven't felt it themselves, but there's ways in which you have to undo your relation, your response to relation, your reactions. And you're tested with your own self-worth during these times, because you have to endure or digest, walk through situations which are unfavorable or which leave you drained. oftentimes you're in relation to this energy, this spirit, and so to step out of that is treachery to some. Self-centered. But it's a phasal energy. It's part of digesting experiences and the dynamics which we unconsciously live out through our relations to each other. And they speak to us about how we value ourselves. And when we start to move in ways which benefit us, then we will be tested, but not in a way of your passing or failing, in a way of your realizing and applying the value of your updated awareness, knowing that every cup has a flavor. There's different energies associated with all these delusions. But as long as this one knows themselves, and they know that behind them there's an observer, the cosmos, the thing which holds all, and if they're following something within themselves, no matter what cup they choose, they will find the way to the purity of the six. And it's kind of a process of relation with the cosmos, a chemical wedding. So we had 5s, 2 7s, and some firework. All right, so this new moon in Cancer, Venus is at 22 degrees, still in a balsamic phase conjunction with the new moon. And Ceres is opposing the new moon. We have a cardinal cross with the nodes, Black Moon, Lilith, Ceres, and this new moon, Sun, Moon, Earth energy. So the compromise of your repression, how do you bring that forward in ways which honor your growth? So you know that when you are a student in life, you may make mistakes, but you'll make wise mistakes when you follow the things which are good for you, and the the pull which speaks to your soul rather than to just the mind or just the heart. Because a lot of the language of the heart is shrouded in pain dynamics, the deepest traumas. So this is why you can maximize your efforts in life. And it's easier to do that when you honor your value and your changing awareness, and that your worthiness is within application with life, how you apply your experience. And that takes time to develop the spirit to feel the need, because if you can't feel it, then it's just faking it. And we're all trying to fake it in the way that seems to work for everyone else, and we're losing ourselves into this weird trance. So it's a call to stand in your transformation. So judgment here, this is plutonic energies, scorpionic, changing energies from the depths, being called into action. So it's like the death card. After you burn down, this is the impetus to feel the rising phoenix from the ashes energy. So the quartering of life, you know you die and you're born many times in life. it's good to choose the times you're dying, because when you do that, you fall forward and you grow through those experiences. All right, and so I did shuffle one more time, and this was at the bottom of the deck. All right, love of the self through honoring your transformation. Knowing you may not be perfect, you may not be where you want to be, but it doesn't mean that you got to stop applying the value that you're cultivating into the here now. So if you can find time to honor yourself and bring to spirit things which feed and nourish your soul, then that's a good way to be in these times, to get out of the echo response and into the felt presence of experience. All right, that's all I wanted to say. Thanks for watching, listening, and being.